What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have some big news heading into the market this week. We have the FOMC press conferences. Warren Buffett is still buying a lot of OXY. Oil is going to be extremely volatile this week, and basically we're going to cover some of the best stocks to watch this week. So if you are new here, please consider subscribing. Maybe let us know what stocks you're watching in the comments down below. We'll probably take a look at them in tomorrow's video. But Tom, let's get right into it.
Yeah, Mike, the movement out of SPY was insane on Friday. The SPY gapped up in pre-market all the way up to 433, and then we closed all the way down around Elon Musk's favorite number at 420 down there at the bottom. I could not believe the SPY fell off that much in the middle of the day, but we're just seeing continued tensions over there between Ukraine and Russia. It's definitely not good to see. There's tons of articles and videos coming out of the destruction going on. You know, Russia has a lot of equipment over there that's getting destroyed and stuff like that, and obviously the tensions are just continuing to mount. Russia still has multiple convoys and everything like that over there. So it's the tensions are still there, Mike. And there's also more tension starting to pick up over there in the Middle East as a ballistic missile hits Iraq's Kurdish capital, and they actually targeted a U.S. consulate building, Mike. So this is pretty big. You know, I know that Iran has been a pretty big thorn in the United States side over the past few years. And, you know, to see them starting to target our consulate over there is definitely not good. And apparently this is coming in retaliation to an attack from Israel last week. So definitely not good to see these tensions heating up. And this might even make the oil market go even crazier.
Very true. So it's just not really a good time for the world right now, Tom. Like, we have all of these tensions in the Middle East between Iran, Israel, and kind of the United States. And we have everything going on between Russia and Ukraine and the rest of the world. So it's a pretty rough time right now. And I think the market is reflecting that in a pretty good way. You know, like, it's been pretty rough lately. Like, if we look at basically any stock on Friday, especially the SPY and QQQ, and even like some of these bigger stocks like Apple, they were looking really good on Friday morning, but there was just so much selling pressure throughout the day where it just became like a bloodbath.
Yeah, it did. Like you mentioned, the big stocks like Apple were down. Microsoft ended up tanking off to the downside. We even had Amazon in the red, and then big tech stocks like Tesla fell down 5%, Mike. I don't know what happened to the EV stocks on Friday, but we saw some of them get destroyed. Tesla, Lucid, Rivian. I know Rivian's earnings probably didn't help last week either, but yeah, the EV sector is getting hit pretty hard. And, you know, like we mentioned at the beginning of the video, some of the stocks doing very well right now are commodities, Mike. And Warren Buffett's continuing to buy Oxy shares here. I saw that he dumped another $1.5 billion into Oxy last week, buying at prices between $51.03 and $58.58. So he's still averaging in here, Mike, up here at the top. And, you know, it honestly, the way Oxy closed, it looks pretty bullish. If we start to see a nice breakout up above $59 or $60, I think Oxy has a pretty good chance to run this week.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know gas prices have been through the roof, but how are crude oil futures doing? I know like a couple weeks ago, it was moving up in an insane way, but I feel like over the past week, it slowed down at least a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely did. You know, if we go back to like a 180-day, 1 hour chart, you can see crude oil was getting really high over the past couple of weeks, all the way up to 130 whenever futures opened last Sunday, Mike. So whenever futures open up later tonight, it's going to be very interesting to see where they are. You know, they might gap up like last Sunday, but who knows? You know, like you said, honestly, oil last week took a pretty big dip, and it was during a time whenever I thought, Mike, people were going to really expect oil to go up. And like, you know, we've been seeing this happen a lot where the market loves to go against the majority. And it looks like everybody was loading up on like oil calls or calls on stuff like Exxon and Chevron. And then the stock started dipping back down. So it's definitely interesting to see these oil plays falling back off, but I feel like that they could still have some renewed momentum back to the upside if stuff starts heating up again. You know, obviously Russia has been kind of slowing down the past couple of weeks, Mike. I haven't been seeing too much news of them advancing anymore, but I have a bad feeling that they've been just waiting for a nice time to move in.
Yeah, I feel like it's the calm before the storm, you know, so we will see. But Tom, the market overall has been extremely volatile actually ever since 2022 started. It's been all over the place, but I know this week is going to be especially crazy because we have the FOMC press conference. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, the FOMC press conference is going to be insane, Mike. Obviously, there's so much stuff that happens with Fed rate hikes and everything like that. Investing.com put out a really good article showing the stuff going on this week. Pretty much the market's been pricing in a quarter point percentage rate hike, and people have been talking about that we might get higher than a quarter of a point. So looking at it, it looks like the Russia situation really calmed that stuff down. You can see that they're pretty much saying that a quarter of a point is what's priced in. The market was pricing in, Mike, a half of a percentage point, but looking at it, apparently Russia, that invasion obviously sent the markets all over the place. The SPY's been dipping down, commodities have been going up, and it's caused a lot of uncertainty to creep in. So that's going to be huge. But yeah, Powell's going to be speaking this week, Mike. He's going to be speaking at 2 p.m., or I should say 2:30 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday. And then the interest rate decision is going to come out at 2 p.m. Eastern time Wednesday. So it's going to be huge. Expect more volatility, especially out of the overall market and the SPY.
So main thing to know, Wednesday is going to be a crazy day. We're going to have a press conference from Powell and their interest rate decision. So be prepared for volatility on Wednesday. And then Tom, I know that earnings season is kind of slowing down, but what stocks do we have reporting earnings this week?
Yeah, we have some pretty good ones. It's definitely slowing down, but at the end of the week, we have some pretty decent ones. On Thursday, we have FedEx and then GameStop, and after hours, it looks like Dollar General reports before the market opens. So we don't have too much. There is a little bit of a like smaller name stocks reporting. I don't want to call them smaller names, but just nothing that's too popular. Like Dole is pretty popular, stuff like that. But overall, FedEx and GameStop are going to be very interesting, Mike. I know FedEx is in that shipping industry, so we can maybe look at UPS to maybe give ourselves an idea with that. But GameStop has been really popular the past couple of years, obviously, since they exploded, Mike. And if we look at GameStop on the daily chart, they've been starting to dip down really, really low. So hopefully they come out with some good numbers here.
Yep, very true. And then Tom, looking at the SPY, what are the most important levels to watch for this week?
Yeah, at the end of the week, we got all the way down to 420 there at close on Friday, like I said. So obviously 420 is probably going to be a bit of a support there, but below that, I see more support down around 418. So as we start to fall off, 418 will be a big support, but the main level I'm looking at is somewhere down around 414 to 415, Mike. We've had a lot of bounces there the past few weeks. That's held up as a big level. And if the SPY falls below that, I could see us possibly falling off to around $400 or so. So hopefully we end up holding here right around 414 to 415. As far as resistance overhead, I see 422 and then 427 after that. I think 427 was a huge level from last week. We finally broke above it in pre-market on Friday, but gave all the gains right back.
All righty, good to know. And then I just want to check back in on Tesla really quickly. I know you mentioned it for a second earlier in the video, but I know a lot of people like to watch Tesla and invest into them. Tesla has been going pretty crazy over the past couple weeks. What would you say are the most important levels to watch for this one for this week?
Yeah, Tesla's been hovering a lot, Mike, right around where we're at, actually. So right between like $790 and $800, Tesla has found a lot of support in the past, especially even if you go back to like January 28th. There was a lot of movement right on that day. So looking at it, I would say 790 to 800 is going to be a big support right where we're at. We might end up, if we see futures gap down tomorrow morning, we might see Tesla and a few other stocks start to break down in pre-market. So we have to be a little bit careful of that, but that's going to be a big support, Mike. And as far as resistance, Tesla had a lot of trouble getting above like $860 last week. So I see 860 as a good resistance and a nice support down here, right around like 790 to 800, like I mentioned. But it definitely isn't looking good, Mike. Tesla slid off on Friday. They ended up down 5%. Looks like there's a lot of momentum to the downside here. So hopefully something changes over the weekend.
All right, good to know. So Tom, do you have any final thoughts before we get into these momentum plays?
Yeah, last week, Friday was just a brutal day. It wasn't just Tesla down 5%. We had a lot of stocks falling off. Like Blink was down 7%. NEO was down almost 10%. We even had Beyond Meat, Mike, down like 8.9%. They just continue to fall off lower. Lots of stocks are in the red. Even like big companies like Facebook, Nvidia, AMD, they were all starting to fall off. So I just want to bring this up because there's a lot of selling pressure right now, and there's still a lot of tensions going on over there with these other countries, even in starting up in the Middle East now, like we heard with Iran. So there's a lot of stuff going on, lots of selling pressure. Just keep it on the radar because we might see stocks continue down. And, I would really love to see these tech stocks start to rip up, but, looking at it, they really sold off Friday in a big way.
Yep, it's very unfortunate. So with that being said, I want to give a giant shout out to our member of the day, Neighbor J on YouTube. Thank you so much for all of the comments and support, Neighbor J. Tom and I really, really appreciate you. But Tom, it is now time for the momentum plays. With the first one, we have NIO to the downside.
Yeah, poor NIO. They actually almost double bottomed around $16. So make them break below 16 before getting into a quick scalp there.
All right, and then we are watching a BYND.
Yeah, beyond another one. Go ahead and make them break below 38.38, the low of Friday.
With the last one, we have NFLX.
Ooh, Netflix. Yeah, wow. They were down 4.6% too. Go ahead and make them break below 339.
All right, so we're watching Netflix, Beyond, and NIO for potential day trades to the downside tomorrow, only if they break below the levels Tom listed. And I just want to say, if you trade options, check out that first link in the description and the comments down below for daily option swing plays, day trades, and a bunch of other custom bots and features, and a great community, and basically instant access to Tom and myself. You can cancel at any time. We have a coupon running, and the bot plays have been doing pretty well lately. Over the past week, every single bot play popped for at least 10%. Last week, we had a bot play with VXX on March 1st, actually popping for around 83%, which is insane to see. That VXX play went from $133 all the way up to $243 in just a couple hours. So it was pretty awesome. Like I said, you can cancel at any time, and you get daily options, day trades, swing trades, and access to an amazing community. And we have a coupon running. So now's the time to try it out if you want to. It'll be that first link in the description down below. Besides that, if you guys are new here and you enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing. Besides that, thank you guys so much for watching.